guys, I'm Shayla and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thank you all so much for tuning in, and if you're returning, thank you for coming back. So I want to jump right into this video because I've had a few people ask me underneath my old videos if I have social media, what's my IG account, and just a lot of different questions about social media, but I don't have it. And now that I live in a completely different state, so I'm from Kentucky and I moved to Maryland, I get asked all the time, do I have social media? And I'm always having to tell people, no, I don't have it. Most people, they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. I can airdrop you this or text you this or send it to you some other way. And then some people are like, really? You don't have social media? Like, what do you do when you get bored? Or how do you keep up with certain events? Or I just get asked all types of questions about it, which is completely understandable. When I first quit, it was different. When I was bored, I didn't know what to do. When I needed to know information on like certain events, sometimes I would have to ask other people, or I'd have to figure out like, oh, let me do a quick Google search, or maybe, I don't know, I would just have to figure things out. But we're gonna jump right into it. Why I decided that it was time for me to quit social media. I started off with Facebook first, and I didn't really mind it. I would post pictures, status updates here and there. I wasn't on there all the time, but I got it because everybody around me was starting to get a Facebook in high school. So I was like, hey, why not? I'll get it too. And then Instagram started to become more popular. So then I got an Instagram, and I was like really I was getting into fitness around that time. And so I started to post more fitness content. But the thing about me and social media, I've never really had, I want to say, a consistent time where I was just on there consistently and I did not deactivate my page within the year. I feel like almost every single year that I've been on social media, I've deactivated it, whether it was for a week, a couple months, 6 months. Facebook, I think I deactivated that for 3 years at one point, but I've always deactivated my social media accounts randomly. And there is pretty much 3 reasons why I did it. At the time, I didn't really realize it. I was just like, I'm tired of this. I don't want social media anymore. I'm okay without it. Life is more enjoyable without it. But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, now I realize why I deactivated it and why I'm really not in a rush to go back to it. And I'll talk about it at the very end, if I'll be getting back on social media and what life is like without it. So the first reason why I deleted my social media is because I wanted to be present. I noticed that being on social media, a lot of times I didn't enjoy the moment, and I was always just taking a picture of any special events or trips that I was going on. So for instance, a couple of years ago, I went to Miami, and I literally took pictures and videos from the time that I was at the airport to when I got there, and I stayed for I think like 5 days, all the way until I came back. And I did enjoy the trip. It was a lot of fun and I made a lot of good memories, but I just remember looking back, like I just documented that entire thing. Even though I didn't post all of it, I posted some of it. I just wish I would have lived in the moment a little bit more versus taking pictures of my food, my drinks, the beach, like just everything consistently. So I feel like being on social media, especially if you're looking to grow your page, sometimes, and I don't know all the analytics with like Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, but I feel like you do have to be very consistent and you have to post a lot of information consistently, and that can be very draining, at least for me. And I didn't want to have to take so many pictures and videos and stuff like that and post it all over social media. I just wanted to enjoy what I was doing. And then if you knew about it, it's because you were there, or maybe you heard about it, but not because I posted it online. So me deleting social media just really allowed me to be more present and to really live in the moment as well, and not have to show the world everything that I was doing. Not that I had to, but at one point I thought I wanted to really grow my page and be like this huge fitness influencer. And so I was really doing as much as I could to consistently put out information so people would see it. But yeah, that quickly changed. The second reason why I quit social media was because it also fueled my procrastination. So I noticed that whenever I did not feel like doing something, whenever I didn't know how to do something, whenever I felt like something was going to be time consuming, I would get on social media. I'm like, oh, I can do it in 30 minutes. And within that 30 minutes of me waiting, I would just scroll through social media. But that 30 minutes would then turn into an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours. Or if I needed to do laundry or clean up, I'm like, oh, I can do that in an hour or so. I'm not going to bed for a few more hours. So let me just get on Instagram and scroll for a little bit. And so I noticed that I wasn't really taking care of a lot of things that I needed to be within a timely manner because I was on social media. And social media, it's really easy to get caught up. At least for me, it was so easy to get caught up on it because I followed a lot of people who were funny, a lot of people who were entertaining or just informative. And so I was very consumed in the content that I was seeing on my page. I had Instagram, I had Facebook, and I had TikTok for a very short period of time, but I had to delete my TikTok because I was literally on there way too much, like for hours, and I did not even realize it. So I deleted that almost right after I got it. That didn't last long. But Instagram, I was able to control my amount of scrolling for the most part, but there were just times where when I didn't feel like doing something, I would just scroll on Instagram. And the third reason why I decided to delete my social media account, because I was starting to compare myself. And it didn't really have to do with like aesthetics. It more so had to do with occupation. So, and like career wise. I just felt like there was times where I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't where I was supposed to be for my age, or I didn't accomplish enough in life, and I didn't like that. Before, I was never like that. I was in my own lane. I was working and just doing what I needed to do each day to get to where I wanted to go. And I was okay with the progress that I was making. But being on social media, for me, I was seeing person after person after person accomplishing certain goals and traveling and getting brand deals and doing all these amazing things that were honestly great for them. But for me, seeing that back to back to back to back, I started to just kind of question myself. I'm like, wow, am I doing enough? Am I where I'm supposed to be at this point in my life, at this age, at this stage? Maybe I should be doing a little bit more. Maybe I need to work a little bit harder. Maybe I need to switch up my look. Maybe, I don't know. I would just ask myself all these different questions that I never really asked myself before. In all honesty, looking back in this last year, I've probably done more than I've done in a very long time. But being on social media, when you see people's pictures and everything they're doing and experiencing, it's a lot to take in. And for me, it just made me question myself and question where I was in life at that time. And now it's crazy because in this last year, I've done so much. I've spent a lot of time with family. I've traveled. What have I done? I've moved to Baltimore. I've competed in a fitness competition. I started a YouTube channel all within a year. No social media, just me living, enjoying my life and accomplishing goals. And I'm very proud of that. But I know if I would have been on social media, I probably still would have been like, you know what? That's not enough. I need to do more. But in all actuality, that's a lot. That's great. And I feel like sometimes being on social media, it makes me think twice about things I probably should not be thinking twice about. So hopefully that makes sense, because in my head it does. But yeah, that comparison game isn't a good one. Comparisons, like, I think there was a quote like, comparison's the killer of all joy. Don't do it. And so for me, I decided to get off of social media so that way I wouldn't do it at all. And so now I really don't compare myself at all. Like, people can tell me things in person about what they've accomplished, things they're doing, places they're going. I'm genuinely happy for them, and I don't compare myself. But being on social media, I think I compared myself so much because I was seeing it so often, and I was seeing it at such a high rate, just back to back to back every time I was scrolling. So that was a little bit difficult. And after a while, I was just like, you know what? I have to get off social media. I have to take a break. this is enough. So since I haven't been on social media for a year, I've learned a lot. The first thing that I've learned is just how to socialize more. And I know that's like sounds weird, but being on social media as much as I used it almost as a crutch for everything. So if I was in a situation and I didn't really know anyone, I would pull out my phone. If I was waiting in line and I was bored, I would pull out my phone. If I was just bored in general, I would pull out my phone and get on social media. So anytime that I had downtime, I would get on social media. Now I don't have that option, so it forces me to fill my time in other ways. So now if I'm bored, I'll call friends, I'll talk to them, I'll call my mom or my nieces and nephews. If I'm bored, I'll go out and do stuff. So I might go out to eat, I might go to the movies, even if I don't have anybody to go with, like I'll still go out and do things, and I'll go to certain events and I'll socialize at those events. Whereas before I'm like, nope, because I'm an introvert as well. So it's already hard enough for me to really get out there and talk to people. But now not having social media and being an introvert, it's like forcing me to be more social, which I absolutely love. It's a challenge, but it's a really good feeling to just be able to go places and just make conversations with complete strangers, because before I don't know if I would have been able to do that. Whereas now you can put me in a room full of strangers and I'll figure it out. Like I'll be able to make conversations with them just fine. And so I feel like it's definitely helped with that. It's also helped me to discover things that I like doing and get back to doing things that I love doing. Like I used to love running, so now I'm getting back into running more. Being off of social media is also helping me just to be more productive and more intentional about the things that I'm doing on a daily basis. So it's not that I always have to do something towards my professional goals. I just want to be intentional with my time. So if I'm relaxing, I want to relax. If I am working, I'll work. But being on social media, as much as I was on there, I would just get on there no matter if I was bored or if I was busy. Anytime I just had downtime, I would just pull out my phone and start scrolling. Whereas now it's like when I'm relaxing, I'm enjoying a really good TV show, or I'm gonna take a nice warm bubble bath, or I'm gonna do some type of self-care, or I don't know, I'll figure out something to do outside of looking. I try my best not to look at screens too much throughout the day, but I found myself just being a lot more productive. And then when I'm working, I'm working. And because I don't have a bunch of alerts going off on my phone, I'm not on social media, I'm not tempted to just stop and procrastinate and get on Instagram for a little bit and then go back to doing what I was doing for work. It's like when I'm working, I'm focused on that. And then when I'm finished, I'll find something else to do. I also feel like being off of social media has taught me how to deal with like my emotions and responsibilities a lot better, because before, if I was frustrated, say I had a long day at work and I would just come home and I would just want peace and quiet, and then I would just get on social media because a lot of the people that I follow were entertaining or funny, and I would just scroll through and watch videos. Or if I was frustrated at someone else or upset for some reason, I would just get on social media because it was a distraction. Whereas now I don't have that distraction. So I have to actually deal with whatever it is that happened. So, which is good. There's nothing that's blocking me from doing that unless I intentionally block myself. About me with social media, again, it was the way that I was able to procrastinate. If I didn't feel like doing something, I would get on there. If I didn't feel like I was in the, I guess, I don't know how to explain it. What am I trying to say? If I didn't feel like I was happy that day, like maybe I just had like a long stressful day, whether it was like at work or with someone else, it was just like, okay, I'm taking a break. I'm gonna get on social media, I'll scroll, and then I'll figure it out later. So now it's like, I can't do that. I actually have to be present in my emotions and my, everything that I go through on a daily basis. And I really appreciate that. And you just start to discover things about yourself that maybe you didn't know before, you didn't realize before. And it's really cool. It's really eye-opening as well, because for me, I just didn't realize how much of a distraction social media was. I was like, I am just scrolling. It's no big deal, but it actually was. So learned a lot. Will I be going back to social media? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm not going to say no, I'm not going to go back, because there's a chance I will, but I'm also not going to say yes, I'm going back, just in case I don't. I kind of made this deal with myself. I was like, if I can get my YouTube subscribers to 20,000, then I'll get back on Instagram. But that's, I was just thinking that. I don't know if that's actually going to happen right now. And I am 100% content with having 0 social media platforms and only doing YouTube, that I don't really have the desire. Honestly, I don't have the desire whatsoever to go back to social media. I love the place that I'm in. I love the headspace that I'm in. I love my daily routines that I have going. I love that when I wake up in the morning, I don't look at my phone. I just get my day started. If I need to see the time, it's right on my stove. I love that before I go to bed, I'm not on my phone for long periods of time. I put my phone down within a timely manner, and I can easily fall asleep. I sleep through the night perfectly. Like, I just have a really good routine, and I feel like if I get social media back, it may interrupt that routine, and I don't want that. Or it might not, but I'm good without it right now. So I don't know if I'm gonna go back to social media or not. If I do, I'll let you all know, but for now, I'm okay without it. So I'm curious, do you all have social media? If you have it, do you enjoy it? Or if you don't have it, I'm curious to know your story and why you decided to deactivate or even delete your social media page. I haven't deleted it, but it's still up, just deactivate it. So I'm curious to hear your stories as well. So definitely let me know down below how you all feel about social media. I love knowing both sides of the story, because I do realize there are pros and cons to having social media, and everybody has like their own opinion of it. But that's all that I have for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye guys.